Hello crafty friends, welcome to another card making video. Recently I saw this card in a shop and I thought I wonder if I could make something similar. So that's what I did for this video. I set out to make a card that you could open and it would look like a cake with candles sticking out the top. So I took a 4x6 inch-ish card blank and cut it down into a short fat rectangle, shall we say. I then used my corner rounder to round the corners to give it a more of a cake-like look. To create my cake layers, I took a piece of low-tack masking tape and placed this horizontally, roughly in the middle of my cake. And then to colour my cake, I thought I'd stick with the colours that I'd seen in the original card. And I picked an orange, a dried marigold, which is quite a pastel orange, not too bold and in your face. And I blended that on the bottom layer of the cake. For the top layer, I went with a light purple colour and used milled lavender distress oxide. I think my ink pad was a bit dry because it took quite a lot of elbow grease to blend this. I must remember to re-ink this ink pad. I wanted to add a bit of contrast to my top layer of cake, so I blended black soot distress oxide through this dash stencil. I think I overdid it a bit. I think the black marks are too big, but this was kind of a prototype card, so I kept going because I thought I'll just use this card as an experiment, and should I want to make something similar in future to actually give to someone, then I will take all my learning from the experiment and use that when I make an actual card to give away. To add some interest to the bottom layer of my cake, I wanted to do some more stenciling, but I thought I'd be a bit more subtle this time. So I chose Wild Honey Distress Oxide, which is a stronger orangey yellow than the dried marigold. And then I blended that through a damask type stencil. It's a bit unusual. I've got quite a modern top layer of my cake with those bold black dashes and then something quite vintagey, I suppose, a vintagey pattern on the bottom layer. But again, it's just something to remember and think about when I create this cake card in future. So once I'd done my stenciling, I removed the tape from the middle of the cake. And my idea had been to mask off the bottom and the top layers and blend something in that middle layer, but I managed to tear the card as I was removing the tape. I don't know how, because this is the lowest tack tape that I've ever used. So I decided, well, I will just cover it up with something. So I took some blue metallic cardstock, cut it into strips wide enough to cover the white strip on the card. And then I put them into an arrow embossing folder and ran that through my die cutting machine, and that gave me some really lovely embossing. Again, this is quite a modern pattern, so it doesn't really go with the damask on the bottom, but we've talked about that. We don't need to talk about that again. To stick these strips down, I just added some tape runner, put them on the card, and then snipped off the overhanging bits with my scissors. To make the cut edges look a little bit more finished, I ran along them with my embossing tool just to bevel the edges to curve them over a bit. To create my candles, I took some more of that metallic blue cardstock and used 4 candle dies to cut out the candles, strangely enough. I then inked up the flame parts by pressing them down onto an embossing ink pad and then dipped them into some gold embossing powder. I then heated these with my heat tool and my candles magically had gold flames. To attach my candles to the card, I put some tape runner along the top edge of the front of the card, and then I stuck the candles to them with the metallic blue side facing out. I then covered the whole of the inside of the card with tape runner and stuck another card blank to the inside so that the back of the bottom of the candles are hidden. To help me get everything lined up, I used my scoreboard and just pushed the candle card into the corner, and then I pushed the second card into the corner and pressed it down. I then shut the inner card, as it were, and then I shut the outer card, just to make sure that the card would still be closable once everything was stuck down. And that seemed to work well. It wasn't until this point that I realised that the back of the candles might need some decoration so they look nice when the card was open. So, as this was a prototype, I thought, let's just paint the candles. So I painted the flames gold and the bodies metallic blue. Next time, I might sandwich 2 pieces of metallic cardstock together and die cut from that so that both sides of the candles have colour to them, and I could also heat emboss the back of the candle flame as well as the front of the candle flame. I did manage to get some paint on the front of the candles, but that was easy enough to wipe off with a damp baby wipe. And for my sentiment, I die cut Happy Birthday out of some matte gold cardstock. Prior to cutting, I'd put some double-sided sticky on the back so it was easy to stick down, and that was this prototype card made. As I said, there's plenty of learning to take forward from this card. I think I would put candles along the back edge of the card as well, just so there were lots of candles and it looked like there were candles on the whole cake when the card was open. But on the whole, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Right, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's given you some ideas and some encouragement. If it has, do let me know in the comments, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you back here very soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.